I spoke earlier by Skype with Owen Holdaway. He's a journalist in Baghdad. He spoke to me about the damage caused on Iraq's side of the border.
When the quake hit about 9 o'clock local time last night, yeah, it was quite significant. I mean, my room itself, it shook quite viciously. There was also quite an outpour on social media and even the media organisations in Baghdad of people running out of malls. And then immediately afterwards, the Baghdad government, the central government, warned people to stay away from the malls and major elevators and that sort of areas. I had a friend up in Kirkuk who also reported some minor damage there. I think in Iraqi Kurdistan there was the most significant damage, particularly outside the town of Suleimania, which was nearer to the epicenter of where the quake actually happened. And I believe that the deaths, which amounted to about 8, I think according to the health ministry, occurred around that sort of area. In general, the buildings in Baghdad and all the major urban centers, they're a lot more structurally sound, and they're used to sort of minor quakes. Although this one was, which I believe registered at 7.3 on the Richter scale, was quite significant. So it did cause a lot of people to wake up and a lot of people to run out of malls. But in terms of the actual structural damage within the major urban centers of Iraq and Iraqi Kurdistan, I don't think it was that significant.
Does it have the potential to bring Iran and Iraq, certainly haven't had the best of relations at times, does this have the potential to kind of rally support and bring people together in a sense?
I think in some respects, yes, but then the geopolitical issues, are still very much at the forefront. Iran, particularly, I mean, Barzani, when he announced the referendum, somehow managed to unite Iran, Turkey, Baghdad, the US, and all the major sort of neighboring countries against this. So there's still a lot of bad blood. You have to remember as well that Iran has a significant Kurdish population. So the autonomy that the KRG has, which is quite significant for the Kurds within the region, and the fact that they actually push for independence is a very much fear factor on the Iranian side. Meanwhile, on the Assad side in Syria, there's also significant pushes, particularly with the fact that he's given there's essentially a self-governing region of Rojava in the north of the country. So I think that's their primary pressing issue. But that being said, there has been a certain level of goodwill and cooperation, particularly on the NGO front. But whether that will translate into politically remains to be seen.
One final question before you go. Give me your sense of the evolution of things. Obviously, the first phase of this is rescue and recovery, but then it's trying to get help to people who need it, probably a difficult area to reach. Give me your sense of what it looks like in the days ahead in terms of actually helping the survivors.
I think the immediate rescue operation has largely proceeded quite quickly. As I said earlier, I think the NGOs, particularly the Iranian and Iraqi Red Crescent, have been quite good at accessing and saving lives. But I think the immediate concern that will follow after this will be the need for basic, humanitarian aid, shelter, aid, and also, some. I mean, there's been a call to donate blood for those who've been injured, and I think that's the real pressing issue. Additionally, the weather can turn quite cold, so those who've lost their homes will need rehousing. So I think that's the primary concern. And there has been showing for some upstepping of the mark of some of the international community. For instance, I think Turkey recently agreed to drop some aid. So I think dealing with that and the international community coordinating and rehousing those who've been affected, which is up to an estimate of around about 70,000, will be the primary focus going in the days forward.